Welcome. Today we are going to be creating a mandala calendar. So this is it just here. I've got a couple of techniques. The video is fairly long, so I have sped up some areas of it. So hopefully you can hang through with me for the whole video. It's got a couple of sections, so I've broken it into sections for you. And we've used two different methods to create the mandalas. I've used a draw and cut method. So this one's draw and cut. And this one is a print and cut. So we can, we've used the scan to data feature on the machine and cut around and colour this one in. So it's a different method again. So I've got two methods. I've also got an easel. So we've got the easel that this comes with. So you can make yourself a little easel as well. So lots being covered. We're going to be using Canvas Workspace, the downloaded version, so you can learn that. Covering the tools that we're going to be using and lots of things in this video. So I've tried to break it into sections for you so it makes it a little bit easier for you to follow along and know which bit we're doing, and I hope you enjoy it. So join me while we go and have a look at how to make these mandala calendars. So the first thing you need to do is to download the Mandala Calendar from the website, and you will find a link up just where I'm above here. You'll find a link, and also in the description, on how to access the resource library to get the calendar. So once you access the calendar and download it to your computer, if you're on a PC, it'll probably download it to the downloads folder, and it will come in a zipped format. So what we'll do is click on that and extract all. And I'm going to just download it to the downloads folder for the moment. Just go extract and say yes. And I've got the checkbox show extracted files when complete, so we'll do that too. And there's the files. So this is what it will look like. You will see that there's an easel stand and the months of the year there, and also a letter version with PDF. So this is the two ways we're going to show in this video, and one is to do it with a draw and cut method with your ScanNCut, and the other way is with a print and cut method. Now this is not the print and cut activation kit method. This will be with your ScanNCut and scanning the letters, the Mandala Calendar sections and cutting them out. So once we're here, we also need to, these are also zipped, you'll see the zipper file there. So we're going to work with this one first and extract all, and we'll create it in that location as well. And there's the file. So in this folder, I have created for you a choice of FCM. So this is the little one with the blue icon there, specifically for the ScanNCut. I've also created you a Canvas Workspace project file, so you can edit the data if you want to, and an SVG version. So this is this one down here. So we're going to bring in the SVG version. Now you can, I'll just move that one out of screen. Don't need that one anymore. And I'll move that one out of screen. And this is the one we're going to use. So you can see Canvas Workspace, the downloaded version behind this file here. You can bring it in with your SVG icon, or you can bring it in with your import from your computer, or if you had it in your cutting machine, it would be there, but import from your computer in this instance. But we will show you another method quickly. And we're going to bring in January, February, March 25. You can see that that's there. And all I'm going to do is drag and drop it. And I'll just minimize that for the time being. And so this is the first 4 months brought into Canvas Workspace. You can see them on the right here, all the letters that come in all singular. They've also come in as cut files, so all the pieces are cut files. Now this is a quirk of Canvas Workspace. But we've got some simple tricks to get them into a draw format really easily. You could go one by one and just drop this down and go draw, 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 but that's way too long. We don't want to do it that way. We are going to make a big box around all the pieces. So we've selected all of them and we're going up here to the top area here, and where it says cut, we're going to drop that down and go draw. Now what that does, on the right hand side you can see they're all turned into a pencil marker, but we don't want some pieces of this design as draw. For example, this one here is the mandala outside box, and we certainly don't want that draw. So we'll just find these pieces, there's 4 of them obviously in this section, and we'll change that back to cut. We'll just scroll down a little bit further and we'll see another very purple piece that we'll change to cut, and there'll be 2 more. Scroll down and go cut, and scroll down a little bit more and cut. Now at the moment, if you move these, they will shift out of place because this is not grouped. So my next piece of advice is, before you send it to your cutting machine, is to select all the pieces of the first calendar date, and you'll see that they're highlighted in a blue colour, like a light blue. You can just see the variation. And I would group these. So you can group them here on the bottom, it says group. You can group them up here, or you can actually go Control G as well. That's quite quick to go Control G. I use it all the time, it's really quick. And we'll go with this one, I will do the Control G because I've shown you where to find the other versions, and you can see it's jumped around a little bit, and Control G, and all the pieces Control G. And just scroll down, you better see the groups. I'll just make them smaller. You can name these groups if you want to. You don't need to. And there's the 4 groups. So each one's their own separate group. So now you can actually move them around if you would like to on the mat separately, or send them over as is, depending on what materials you're cutting on. The other folder has it in letter format, which is if you wanted to print them. So we'll cover that shortly. Anyway, this is ready to go over to the machine, and we'll just go File and Transfer FCM and Transfer, and it's done. So we'll go over and cut it. This procedure is just repeated for the other 2 files that go in the pack, and I'll see you at the cutting machine. Okay, so we've got the design in. I'm going to cut this one in a green card. Just pop it on our mat. Make sure it's adhered firmly. If you're a bit worried if it's not sticky enough and it's not adhering, just use some painters or masking tape. Just load the mat. Now I always do the draw first, for especially something like this. So that's my advice, is do the drawing first, because once you've cut your card, it's a little bit less adhered to the mat because you've got all the little cut pieces and everything. So it may move. Doesn't always, but there's a possibility. I also went and bought some new ultra fine Sharpie. So the universal blade holder uses ultra fine Sharpies. If you've got the 3D fun prints. It will fit other sizes, but I'm going to use the Brother Universal one with the ultrafine Sharpies. So I bought new ones because my black was going a bit flat. So we'll open them up. We've got two, so just in case we need them, but I think we'll only need one. In fact, I know we're only going to need one. So get the lid off. Oh, that's a bit tight for me. Just pop the lid on the end. Universal pen holder. Pop it in. Just open it up a little bit more. Hang on, I went the wrong way. There we go. Pop it down so it sits flat on the bottom. And then twist around so it's tight. Take it out the holder. Give it another little twist if you need to. And pop it in to drawer. Make sure it's down properly. Someone tried to draw and hadn't realised it wasn't quite in and couldn't work out why it wasn't drawing properly. You can change the pressure. I never usually do. So on here I've got a 12 by 12 sheet, so I don't need to scan it. This would scan the mat and make sure your placement's okay, but I can see that that's fine, so I'm not going to worry about doing that. And okay, and we will select draw. Now I'm going to do it. I could change the speed. I've got speed at 16 minutes. I think actually it would cope with a bit faster. Well, that is the default. I might just leave it on 3. 16 minutes is not that long. And you can see the cut lines are not there. Just the draw lines. And off we go. And we'll speed this up because we will be here all day with the filming if otherwise. In fact, I might even cut some of it away. Alright, when it's finished, just go OK. Pop the drawing tool out. Pop your cutting blade in. So I'm using the black top cutting blade. Pop that in the holder. So pop that in the holder, press it down. And we will select cut this time. Cut. And make sure your half cut is off. Change your speed if you want. I've got it at 3. I've been cutting a lot of fabric lately, so I cut my fabric a bit slower than normal, but 3 is alright, won't hurt it to be 3. Often I do it on auto. And go start. If you're not sure of your cardstock, do a test cut, and I'll speed this up as well. Alright, so we'll lift the backing paper up. There we go. Looks like it's cut out pretty well, so that's good. And give this a little bit of a bend so it lifts. And when you get to the mandala part, just go very careful. If you have too much trouble, use your spatula, but I think this is going to come okay without it. There we go. A little bit of a crinkle there. So there's one. Give this a bit of a bend. And here we go again. Once again, just go a little bit gentle because it's not fine, but it's not fat thick either. And there's the February. Get March off. That's March. Here we go. And January. So what we will do is clean the mat. And I will go away and do the rest of the months, and I'll be back. So that's one method. I hope you enjoyed watching that last section. This next section is more of a print to cut section. And we're going to cover which file to use, and I'll show you that in a moment. Printing the file, scanning using scan to data, and removing unwanted objects from the scan, creating an offset, zooming in for a better view, and removing the original cut lines. So we're covering quite a bit in this section, and it creates a different finish. So what I'll do is I'll bring over my downloads folder. So remember in the earlier section we downloaded the file to the downloads folder. It might download to a different place on your computer, but that's okay. Wherever you've downloaded it to, it's fine. It will look the same. And we unzipped it. Part of the unzip was this file here, which is a Mandala Calendar 25 letter version, PDF. So it's got a PDF file included. So this PDF you can print. I'll just open the January, February one. Of course, it opened on my other screen. I'll bring it across. I've opened it in Adobe Reader. This seems to be more accurate for sizing. I don't know that it'll matter for this one. It's just I often will lean towards this for this type of print finish, just so that it makes it to the right size. Now this is a letter size. When you set up your printer, drop your printer down and choose your printer you're going to print with. And mine's normally set to A4. It will print A4, so you can do it in A4 if you're got A4 paper. My first time I used the paper, first trial I did with this project, I was using letter. So I've created it in letter, and many of you will use letter as the default. So you just choose whichever size paper you are working on. I've created the file so it will fit letter and A4. And then just go OK. So I'm not going to print it again, obviously, because I've already printed mine. And print. I've just chosen actual size. I haven't really changed any other settings for that. And then go print. And that's what the printed file looks like. I actually created the PDF using the Print Cut Activation Kit PDF. It will export as PDF, and I found that was actually really good. A good way to export your PDFs. All right, so that's that. It will print out, and that's the one we'll be using. So here are the files. It's the same file really that we've used previously. It's just formatted a little bit. So we can just drag and drop this to the, did I grab the right one? No, I did not. There we go. Must have had still on PDF. And you'll see it is in a different format to the previous file where we had it as 12 by 12. To change the look, now keep in mind I have got some additional kits loaded, so this is not the default choices. But just say we're printing on letter, and you can see that's how it will fit on letter. Won't matter if you move it because we will be doing some things with it on the machine. Okay, so over here you will see it still is exactly like it was in that first, apart from being located in the correct location. That's probably the main difference. Select again, just like we did the first time, draw, and what I'm going to do this time is scroll down to the little bit hard to find because these aren't purple. And change the shape to cut. So you drop it down and change it from draw back to cut. And what I want to do is I'm going to actually hide these. So there's the other cut one. Cut. And I'm going to select that one, hold my shift key down, scroll down to that cut file, click the shape just above the cut so they're all highlighted, and you can see the box in the middle is only highlighting the text. Because the text is already printed, we don't need to do that text. So I'm going to go Control G. You can use the icon down here or up in the layers panel to group it. And what I'm going to do is scroll back up and hide those. So I'm going to hide the whole group. So that's that group there that's highlighted on the mat. And with the eye, it's gone. And we'll just minimize that group because that'll make it easier for us to do. We've already changed that shape, so we'll scroll up to the next shape. When we get to that one, okay, so we'll change that to cut while we're here. Click on the top shape of the letters, scroll back down to your group. Make sure you leave active the shape that we're going to cut, the Mandala Calendar shape. And you can see it's selected all of them with my shift key held on a PC. And once again, I'm going to go Control G. You can see them all shift. And we'll scroll back up, minimize the group. You can still see the shape that's going to cut around, and we will hide that again. So we've already got this one here as a cut. Scroll up to the next box, click in the shape below this one. We can actually change that to a cut file over here actually, and then click in the shape. Scroll back down to your groups. Make sure you leave the cut file out of the group. Control G, and we'll close that group up and hide it. I can't remember actually whether I did hide it for all of them. You can just not do the draw once it's sent over to the machine. If you don't ever select draw, it won't do that step anyway. So you can avoid doing this if you don't want to go to do this part. It's up to you. However, if you've left it to cut, it will cut the shapes out. So we don't want to do that. So that's all we really want to go over. I think I left it in for when I did this next bit. So it is up to you whether you do it or not. Just remember you need to change them to draw so they don't cut out when you're there. As long as you don't select draw on the machine, you're fine. Okay, so we're going to send that to the machine, and I'll see you over the machine. It's going to give you this message. The objects that have been set as hidden and not available to export. So that's all the actual calendar part. So that's okay. That's what we want, not to go. And we'll go okay. Transfer it however you want, via USB or via Wi-Fi, or if you've got your machine cable, we'll just send it this way. And I'll see you in the next section. Alright, we're going to scan this. We've printed it out onto our cardstock. I'll just load the mat. Make sure it's firmly adhered. And we're going to scan. And then we're going to scan to cut data. So we start. And just check that little scanning lever on the side. And so I've just shifted it down to 1. So the little lever moves it up and down, moves the scanning bar up and down on the DX models. So if you've got thicker material, you need it to be up higher, obviously. For this one, we want it probably closer. It's just recognising what it's scanned. So we've got 2 more sheets of this to cut, so we'll save this. We're just going to scan around the outside edge here. So that one there. This one there cuts the inside, this one cuts lines. So So the left hand one just does the outside edge of the design. So if we use this one or this one, we'd have lots of little pieces, particularly the fact that it's got the writing in it. I doubt whether it would do just that. Never know though. Might be able to be tricky enough to get it to do that. Okay, so it's done a really good job of just the outside edge, but you can see all this stuff over here is just marks on the mat. It's picked up every single mark on my mat. So they're all cut lines that it's picked up. It's very clever. So we will just change the scanning area by moving the red line, the area. If I go too far, I'll lose it. I'll just go back a little bit. About there. I still need a little bit more. Need one of those little arrow things, don't we, for this? It's too much. Oh, that might be alright. We're just going to go okay for that. There's still a little bit I would like to get rid of, but it's jiggling a little bit for me. I will just go with that. We'll go with that little bit extra. We'll see what it looks like. And go okay. And it wants to know where we're going to save it. So the options are directly to the machine, to Canvas Workspace, or to a USB. I'm going to save it to the machine in this instance because we will do the rest of the work on the machine. And I've got the other pages here to cut out. So it's been saved to the memory. I haven't saved much in this machine. It's only number 2. On my other ones I've saved lots. But I mostly send to Canvas Workspace, but we won't do that today. We'll do it all on the machine. So it's saved. I think we just go home now. And go, alright. Going to retrieve the data from the machine. And there it is there. And we'll go edit. And you can see there's a little line there. I might actually be able to adjust this now. See if we've got a bit better adjustment. Might be a little bit easier. Oh, it's so close, isn't it? Oh, that's not bad. Let's go okay with that. No, it's still got it. So we'll go okay. And we'll just go around the board. And delete these little ones, otherwise we'll have lots of little lines we don't want cutting. So to get round that, I could have put a piece of, if I had realised, I could have put a piece of paper there, and that would have hidden those little marks. And then I wouldn't have had to do this. We don't want to get rid of that big one. And we don't want to get rid of that one, so we'll go back up here and not that many. Okay, I think we've got them all. Now we'll go okay. Alright, I think that looks alright. We will go and scan the page just in case it hasn't lined up to the... It should have, because we haven't moved anything. But we'll just double check that. And go into the edit again and zoom in. Looks pretty good. We can go right up to 400. This one moves it down the page, this arrow. And you can check all the outlines. Just keep scrolling down. These ones over here at the top move the actual design around. So if you select the red box around it, around the design you want to move, and move those arrows. And this one down the bottom here will move it to the right or to the left, depending where you're going. And we'll go OK. So next we're going to go into the Object Edit box, and we're going to choose Offset. That's this little squirrely one. And we'll add an offset. So you need to have one of the boxes, one of the calendar shapes selected, and it will offset. I've gone up to 3. You could try 2 as well. Just go OK once you've done it. Click on the next box, go back into the offset, move the plus arrow up to the size of outline that you want, or the offset that you want. And you can also do an inset this way. So you just use the minus and go backwards, so it's a minus number. And just work your way around until you've got them all at exactly the same. And oops, I've accidentally jumped off of that, so I'm going to have to remove another box. So we'll just keep going. We'll fix it up in a minute. You'll see how we fix this up. So 3 and OK. So we've got those boxes around there, and we can see they've got double lines. We're going to work on that next. And we will go and select the inside boxes and delete them. So on that left one, you can see that it has gone and selected the inside box. We're back in the zoom section. Just scroll down so you can see a bit more. You can see the red is only around the inside box. So you just need to keep checking that. So that one's got the 3 there. You can see in the zoom. Go OK. You can see that's on an inside shape now. Choose the one you want. So this moves around the different shapes. You can see it moving, jumping around. Go in and zoom if you need to. That one's definitely on the inside one. You can zoom up a bit more if you're having trouble seeing. Scroll down to where you are. And you can see that's clearly that inside box. And delete. And go OK. And see, it's on the outside box. We don't want that. Go back out. Use these big arrows to move in. I can see that straight away that that's the inside box, but we'll go in and so you can see better. Delete. OK. So, and this one's, again, I can see it's gone straight to the inside box, so we can delete it and go OK. And so we've just got one more to go, and that looks like it's gone to the inside box too. Scroll down, double check. So for me, I can see normally on the other screen, so I don't always zoom in, but you would not be able to see me doing it. I need to go into the zoom to make sure, and if you're unsure while you're doing it, it's a handy tool to use. All right, we're going to cut these out, and off we go. Make sure the half cut's off. Go in and change it and check it if you need to. So it's definitely off. You can tell on the front. It tells you on the front panel it's off. Change speed. Anything you want to change before you cut, and go start. And there we go. So I've cut 2 of these out. You can see one is right on the edge of the card. The other one's got the 3mm offset. So choose whichever way you would like to do it, and we'll go and cut the easel out next. So I cut this originally on an A4, and now I'm cutting this one on a 12x12. There's a left and a right piece, so keep that in mind. And if you're using patterned materials, you need to make sure you flip it the right way so they don't have the pattern on the inside when you glue it together. And then we'll go through gluing the layers together. So I'll see you over at the machine. Okay, bring your design in. And last time I brought it in, I had it as a A4. You don't need it as an A4 if you've got a 12x12 piece of card in. I'll just load my mat. And I'm using the black top blade. And I'm just going to leave it like that. That's right. It uses the space, leaves a little bit of card free to do something else with here. So that's okay. And go OK. And select cut. And start. Got some little pieces in here, so just lift it up carefully. There's a number of ways you can take your cardstock off the mat. This is cut much nicer than the other cardstock I used, so that's good. This is the American Craft. Just bend your mat a little bit so it lifts, and you can lift the rest of the piece off. So that's one part of the easel, and that's the other side. So one's a left and one's a right. We put all the lefts together and all the rights together, it'll be right. Or left. I'm going to use art glitter glue today. Quite like this glue. I actually bought it from Amazon US. I'll put a link in the description. I think you can get it on the other Amazons as well now. So I couldn't at the time when I purchased this one, but I'm pretty sure you can now. And just line them up and place them together. If you've got a little bit of glue, I use those dry, wet ones when they go dry after you've cleaned your mat. I just leave them there, and they're good because you can just wipe the glue off your fingers as you move along. And I've done 3 layers for this, which was quite sturdy. Depending on the thickness of your original card, how many layers you might need to do. 3 was not bad for the American craft. However, the original one I played with, and I'll show you in a minute, is a bit flimsy. So I've put the 3 layers, but it's not as solid a card. So the American craft definitely did a better job. It's up to you. Or you can go and actually just buy one of these, but it's a bit more fun and a bit cheaper to make your own. And just layer them up. Spreading the glue around the edges a little bit more. So you'd normally let the glue dry a little bit more, but I'm going to slot them together. This glue is pretty quick drying. They just slot together like that. So the left goes into the right. Sit it so you're happy and pop your cards on. How cute's that? Need to shift my camera. Just like that with the draw and cut method. I hope you've enjoyed that. I did say I was going to show you the difference between the 2 easels. So I made this one with the American Craft 12 by 12. It is a 300, here. It is 30 by 30.48 by 34.48 in size, or 12 by 12. It is a solid core material, like a cardstock, and it is a 216 GSM weight. The other one I've used was 176 GSM, and it was a Spotlight brand, which had a few things that went wrong with this one. So one, it isn't a solid core, so I lost a little piece of it onto the mat. It's unfortunate. Didn't matter too much for this one. The biggest drama was that you can't see it on the camera, but this is quite a bit flimsier. This is 3 layers thick, so if you find a heavier GSM, it probably would do a better job again. So I've cut the design 3 times and stuck it together, which you will have seen in the video. And this one I've done the same thing, however you can tell it's different. So if you're using a lighter weight card, I would recommend perhaps using an extra layer again, or 2 layers. You can use as many layers as you want, and it'll make it a bit sturdier, because this one's not quite sturdy enough. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you on my next video. See ya.